It's time to talk about my favorite books of 2025. Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It's a new year. I'm so excited. I have really high hopes that this year is going to be the best reading year I've had. I am manifesting it and I'm gonna make it happen. But to wrap up last year, we're going to talk about my favorite books of 2025. Now, I have 6 books and I will rank them from number 6 until number 1 being the best book I read this year. And I didn't have the best reading year, so it was not super hard to be able to pick out my favorites. But instead of doing like 10 or 15 or whatever, I'm just doing my top 6. Because once I got past 6, I was like, I don't know. You know, like I did give a couple other books 5 stars and a couple 4 stars, but I was like, they just aren't on the same level as these 6 books. So these are my 6 favorite books of 2025. Coming in at number 6 is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I saw this all over my freaking booktube for months, and I was like, that cover is stunning, like definitely one of the prettiest books I own. So I was like, I have to read this book. This is a YA fantasy horror, which I love when you mix fantasy and horror together. It just does something to me, okay? In this, we follow Andrew, and Andrew has a sister and his best friend Thomas, and they all go to this private school. And Andrew likes to write really macabre, dark, gruesome fairy tales, and most of them are set around a prince in the woods with like these like nature tree monsters always attacking and killing him. And then Thomas, his best friend, who by the way he's madly in love with, you can tell, all right, he's like pining for this man but won't say how he feels. Anyway, Thomas draws the monsters for Andrew's fairy tales. So what happens is the next school year comes around and Thomas is acting weird, Andrew's acting weird, his sister's acting weird, and the monsters from Andrew's stories start coming to life. Y'all, it's so good, okay? I know I saw a couple reviews that were like controversial on the ending of this book. I personally loved it. If you don't really like ambiguous endings, maybe not for you. I personally loved the way it ending. I had tears in my eyes. I just thought this was so beautifully written, and as a huge nature junkie, I thought it was just stunning and beautiful. And honestly, it kind of gives Stranger Things vibes. Like, I just rewatched Stranger Things and it's giving that. But this was number 6 and I gave it a 5 star and I loved it. Coming in at number 5 is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer, and this book shook me, okay? Like, I read this in almost an entire sitting. This is a horror book, but I'd say it's also kind of like a psychological thriller, to be honest, okay? This book follows a queer couple and they basically flip houses. So they move into this new house and their plan is to renovate and sell it. And a family comes knocking on the door and the dad's like, hey, I used to live here when I was younger. Can I show my family around? Her partner's gone, so she's kind of like, I don't know about that. Well, she ends up letting them, and then weird shit starts happening and they don't leave. So imagine a family comes knocking on your door and it's like, hey, I used to live here, can I like show my kids around? And you say yes, and then they never leave, and then weird stuff's happening and like your girlfriend still doesn't come back. Y'all, this had my mind blown because it was not what I thought it was gonna be. Okay, like I was guessing what was gonna happen, I was guessing the twist. And this book actually blew my mind. Like it was so good. So good. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. I just think that you need to read it, okay? Because wow. And I almost got my book club to read this book. And then when it didn't get chosen for that month, I said, well, I'm gonna read it anyway. And I am so thankful I did, because the twists and the turns in this book were insane. I did not guess it, and I usually can guess thrillers or horror books, endings or twists. This one though totally went way off of what I was expecting what I thought, and I loved it for that. So We Used to Live Here. Definitely check it out. Coming in at number 4 is the freaking Queen of Fantasy, the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I talk about this book quite frequently recently, and I still don't have my physical copy because my friend still has it, and I'm about to bust down the door and say give it back because I miss looking at it. But I read the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, and I loved it. I come from a heavy geology background, and so that was really helpful because think of this as like earthbenders. I don't know how to explain the 5th season other than like earthbenders, like from Avatar. And you follow multiple perspectives, and basically the world is just very unstable, and there's always these really climactic, like catastrophic events that happen. Like a giant rift will open up, a giant volcano will explode, and the whole world will be dark for days and weeks. So it's like on that epic scale of like natural disaster. But there are these people called Orogenes, and they can, like, they call it sensing. They can sense the earth and what the earth needs to calm it. And so the Orogenes are in, like, they're hunted down and killed unless they're put in the institute, where they're basically controlled to help calm the earth tremors to prevent these giant catastrophic events. And it was just amazing and beautiful. And fun fact, if you didn't know, some people do, orogeny means mountain building event, so I thought it was really cool that like they're called Orogenes. Again, I have a geo background, so reading about this was like, I knew exactly what they were talking about. I know people that have read this book and didn't like it. It was simply because they didn't understand what was happening. Like, it is a very high scale fantasy. It's very like conceptually hard to wrap your head around, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm better than you because I know geology. That's not it at all. But I'm just saying having my geology background did help me actually understand what the hell was going on, because for a little bit I was like, what are we talking about? But once she built that story up, that story went. And the ending, I was flabbergasted. I cried. I need to read the 2nd and 3rd book in this trilogy because she really is just a master of her craft. Like, she is by far my favorite fantasy author I've ever read. I read her Inheritance trilogy. Oh my god, it's perfect. Perfect, no complaints about it. And now I'm reading the Broken Earth trilogy, and it's beautiful. And she would have been higher up on this list if it weren't for the next books that I read. Coming in at number 3 on this list is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is book 2 in the Shepherd King duology. I did a whole vlog video of me talking about these 2 books, and clearly I loved them, so you kind of can guess that the other one is on this list. But in this series, we follow a girl named Elspeth, and basically in this kingdom, a giant mist has come across the kingdom, and if you get sucked into the mist or you walk in the mist, you die, or you get like special powers or abilities, and then you are hunted down because the kingdom looks as that as like a sickness, and it's uncontrollable, and they're scared of magic. In this kingdom, the only kind of magic that they allow is controlled magic. So think tarot cards. There's these literal cards, and the holder of the card can wield the magic of that card. So there's like a chalice, and they all have different abilities, and Elspeth is one of the infected, and she basically has like a monster in her head, and her family has kept it hush hush, and she hasn't really let it known that she has like a sickness because she doesn't really have a power. She's like, I just have this like monster in my head that talks to me. But she ends up getting wrapped into like a huge conspiracy to save the kingdom with some of the people from the kingdom, like the royal court. And they have their own secrets and their own reasons for wanting to save the kingdom, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. To save the kingdom, they have to get all of the tarot cards together. I'm just calling them tarot cards, okay? I can't remember what they call them. They have to get all of the cards together, and that's hard to do when people of power have them and one of them's missing. There's of course like a tiny bit of romance in there. I think the romance was more prevalent in this book, but it was just absolutely stunning. I felt like I needed to put a dress on and like run around a gothic castle. Like the vibes in this were just vibing. It was absolutely stunning. And anyone and everyone should read this book. Not surprisingly, coming in at number 2 is the first book in the Shepherd King duology, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Absolutely amazing. I just told you what this whole series is about. It's just phenomenal. And honestly, I feel like 1 and 2, I could flip-flop either way. I loved them both kind of equally. I think just part of me loved the first one a tiny bit more, but the second one, the way it ended, like I sobbed my eyes out. I made my boyfriend drive me around town trying to find the second book to this the same day I finished it. I read this in an entire sitting and I said, I need the second one right now. Like I can't wait for an Amazon order. I can't wait to go and look at a used store, which I did and I didn't find, probably because they're amazing and they're popular. So I ended up finding book 2 at Walmart and I read that book also in the same day. Absolutely amazing. If you love gothic fantasy, if you love a tiny bit of romance up in there, if you love, you know, royal conspiracies and magic that is so unique, like I've never seen magic like this, then this is the duology for you. It's amazing. Ignore my cats. They're kind of having a spat behind me and we're just gonna let it happen. But coming in at number 1, my favorite book of 2025. This took me by surprise like crazy. I never thought this would be my kind of thing, but I read Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill, and this is a cozy, like fantasy folklore. It's just a cute, heartwarming tale, but I feel like it may be different than other cozy fantasies because I feel like I've heard a lot of cozy fantasies. There's not really much of a plot. It's really just like the vibes and the coziness of it. But Green Teeth had such a good plot. It was phenomenal. So in this, we follow Jenny Greenteeth, and she is a water-dwelling creature. And she has never really dealt with humans. She really keeps to herself in her lake. And a human is dropped in the lake accused of witchcraft. And Temperance is her name. Temperance doesn't know why her village has turned on her, but she thinks it has something to do with the new pastor because the vibes are off with this man, right? Well, Jenny decides that maybe this human is like worth saving and helping, and together they go on this huge journey to figure out why this new pastor and the village is turning against her, and it turns into this huge evil conspiracy and dark powers are rising again, and just these two unlikely friends go on this journey to save her village and save Temperance's family and her reputation. And Jenny has so much growth in the story because, again, she didn't really deal with humans. She doesn't understand human ways. She doesn't understand like empathy and love and friendship. And they have another friend that joins the journey, and it was just the most wholesome thing ever. Like, I think Jenny Greenteeth is one of my favorite characters I've ever read in fantasy. I loved her, and again, the like growth that she had in the novel was just beautiful. It was beautiful. I was so shocked that I loved this book, and I checked this out from the library, and I need to physically buy it because it was that good. It was that good. I want it on my shelves. I don't even have words. I just thought it was beautiful. And that wraps up my favorite books of 2025. Again, I didn't have very many. It wasn't my best reading year, but I am manifesting that we all are going to have an amazing 2026 reading year, okay? It's gonna happen. We're all gonna read amazing books and we're gonna love it. And we're gonna talk about it and we're gonna have so much fun. If you guys have read any of these books and you liked them, please let me know. If you didn't like them, maybe keep your opinions to yourselves on this one. I'm totally kidding. If you guys have read any of these books, whether you liked it or didn't like it, please let me know. And why don't you guys comment like what your top books were for 2025. I love an excuse to go buy books and read more books, so please let me know down below. And I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and you know, it's gonna be a great year. I'm manifesting it for every single one of you. It is going to be an amazing year. Anyway, I'm rambling like I always do. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, happy day, and I will see you all again soon with my next video.